Hi, and welcome to English Channel. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Siddhartha Gautama, the man who would later become the Buddha, was born in a small kingdom called Lumbini, which is now part of Nepal. He was the son of King Suddhodana and Queen Maya, rulers of the Sakya clan. From the moment he was born, something extraordinary happened. It is said that when Queen Maya held her baby in her arms, the trees in the garden bowed down and beautiful flowers bloomed all around her. People believed that this was a sign that the child was special. The baby Siddhartha had a glowing face that seemed to shine like the moon, and everyone knew that he was destined for greatness. A prophet made an important prediction about Siddhartha's future. He said that the boy would grow up to become either a great king or a spiritual teacher who would bring peace to the world. The king, Siddhartha's father, wanted him to become a powerful ruler like himself. To make sure this happened, he kept Siddhartha inside the palace, surrounded by luxury and comfort. Siddhartha had the best education, the finest clothes, and everything a young prince could desire. His palace was full of beautiful gardens, servants, and entertainers. He grew up safe and happy, without ever seeing sadness, pain, or suffering. Even though Siddhartha lived a life full of wealth and pleasure, there was a feeling deep inside him that something was missing. One day, when he was curious about the world outside the palace, he asked his father if he could go beyond the palace gates. The king agreed, thinking that seeing the outside world would remind Siddhartha of how lucky he was to live in luxury. When Siddhartha went outside the palace for the first time, he saw things he had never seen before. The first thing he noticed was an old man walking slowly with a tired face and wrinkled skin. Siddhartha was shocked. He had never seen anyone so old. He asked his charioteer, "What is this?" The charioteer explained, "This is what happens to all of us. We grow old." Next, Siddhartha saw a sick man lying on the road, suffering in pain. He asked, "What happened to him?" The charioteer replied, "This is disease. It can affect anyone, rich or poor." Siddhartha's heart became heavy. He had never thought about sickness before. As they continued their journey, Siddhartha saw a dead body. People were crying and mourning. He asked, "What is this?" The charioteer said, "This is death. All living beings will face it." Finally, they came across a monk sitting peacefully under a tree. He had no money, no palace, and no family, but he was calm and smiling. Siddhartha asked, "Why is he so peaceful?" The charioteer answered, "He is at peace because he has let go of his desires and understands the truth of life." Seeing these four things, old age, sickness, death, and a peaceful monk, changed Siddhartha forever. He realized that wealth and luxury could not bring true happiness. Life was not as perfect as he had thought inside the palace. He understood that everyone must face old age, disease, and death, and he saw that true peace and happiness could only come from understanding life itself. This moment was the first step in Siddhartha's journey to become the Buddha. After seeing the reality of life, Outside the palace, Siddhartha Gautama could not return to his life of luxury. He understood that no amount of wealth or comfort could protect him from old age, sickness, and death. Even though he loved his wife, Yasodhara, and his young son, Rahula, he knew he had to find a way to end human suffering. One quiet night, while his family was sleeping, Siddhartha made a very difficult decision. He left the palace silently so as not to wake Yasodhara or Rahula. At the age of 29, he became a renunciate, giving up all his royal privileges and comforts to search for truth and peace. Siddhartha began his journey by seeking guidance from holy men and ascetics who practiced extreme self-denial. These men believed that to reach spiritual enlightenment, one must suffer, fast for long periods, and endure harsh conditions. Siddhartha joined them and tried their practices. He meditated for many hours, ate very little food, and pushed his body to the limits. He thought that through this suffering, he would purify himself and gain wisdom. However, after several years, Siddhartha realized that extreme self-denial did not bring peace or enlightenment. Instead, it weakened his body and made him tired and weak. His mind was still restless, and he understood that this was not the path to true happiness. One day, Siddhartha collapsed from hunger and exhaustion. At that moment, a kind village girl named Sujata found him and gave him milk rice. Siddhartha drank it with gratitude, and this simple act taught him an important lesson. The key to finding peace was balance. True enlightenment could not come from suffering too much, nor could it come from indulgence in luxury. There was a middle path, a balanced way of living that respected the body and mind while still seeking spiritual understanding. With renewed energy, Siddhartha continued his search for truth. He traveled to a place called Bodh Gaya and sat under a large, sacred tree, now known as the Bodhi tree. He made a vow to meditate there until he discovered the answers to life's most important questions. During his meditation, Siddhartha faced many temptations. Mara, the demon of desire and distraction, sent storms, frightening visions, and even beautiful women to disturb his focus. But Siddhartha remained calm and steadfast. He did not let fear, temptation, or discomfort distract him. His mind stayed clear, and he continued to meditate deeply. After several days and nights of intense meditation, Siddhartha finally attained a profound understanding of life. He became fully enlightened and was now known as the Buddha, the Awakened One. He realized the true nature of suffering and how to overcome it. Buddha discovered the Four Noble Truths. First, that suffering exists. Second, that suffering has a cause, which is desire and attachment. Third, that suffering can end. And fourth, that there is a path to end suffering. This path is known as the Eightfold Path, which guides people to live a life of wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. The Eightfold Path includes right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Through his enlightenment, Buddha understood that anyone could follow the middle path, find peace, and overcome suffering. His teachings were simple but powerful. showing that balance, mindfulness, and understanding are the keys to happiness. Siddhartha's journey from a sheltered prince to the Buddha teaches us that true wisdom comes from observing life, learning from experiences, and following a balanced path that respects both body and mind. After achieving enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, the Buddha knew that he could not keep his wisdom to himself. The world needed to hear his teachings. He first went to the place where he had practiced extreme self-denial with a group of ascetics. These men had once doubted Siddhartha, thinking that he had given up on his search for truth. When Buddha spoke to them about the Four Noble Truths and the Middle Way, they listened carefully. He explained that extreme suffering was not necessary to achieve peace. By following the middle path, cultivating mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion, anyone could overcome suffering. One by one, these men understood his message and decided to follow him. They became the Buddha's first 5 disciples, forming the beginning of his monastic community called the Sangha. Buddha's teachings were not only about philosophy or ideas. His heart was full of compassion, and he wanted people to practice what they learned to transform their own lives. He helped everyone he met, whether they were kings or common people, children or the poor, to understand the path to peace. He did not judge anyone by their social status, wealth, or background. Buddha's approach was practical. He showed people how to face difficulties with calmness and how to live with love and kindness. Even though he had left the palace to seek truth, Buddha never forgot his family. His wife, Yasodhara, came to understand the wisdom of his journey. She respected his choice to leave in search of enlightenment, and she herself became an important figure in the early Buddhist community. Later, his son, Rahula, also chose to become a monk and follow the path of his father. Through their support, Buddha's family contributed to spreading his teachings and living by the principles of compassion and mindfulness. As Buddha continued his journey, his teachings began to reach far beyond the place of his birth. People from many lands heard his message of love, understanding, and the middle way. His influence spread from India to Nepal, China, Japan, Thailand, and further into Southeast Asia. Buddha taught meditation, mindfulness, and how to let go of attachment. He showed that happiness does not come from wealth or external things, but from inner peace and awareness of the present moment. Through his calm presence and compassionate heart, Buddha inspired countless people to change their lives. His message was universal, reaching everyone, regardless of age, wealth, or social position. He taught that suffering is part of life, but it can be transformed through understanding, mindfulness, and compassion. By practicing meditation and living ethically, people could find peace and freedom from suffering. Buddha's life and teachings became a beacon of hope and guidance for millions. He showed that wisdom without compassion is incomplete, and that understanding the truth of life must come with love for all beings. His lessons were simple, clear, and powerful. Cultivate balance, practice mindfulness, and live with a heart full of kindness. By following his guidance, anyone could walk the path to enlightenment and create a life of peace, wisdom, and compassion. The Buddha also emphasized that true wisdom comes from experiencing life with mindfulness. It is not enough to simply know the teachings. One must practice them in daily life. By being fully present in each moment, a person can face difficulties with calmness, avoid unnecessary suffering, and respond to challenges with compassion. Meditation and awareness were the foundation of all Buddha's teachings, and he encouraged everyone, from kings to common people, to practice them. He showed that even in the face of difficulties, a calm and aware mind could remain peaceful. As his fame grew, people came from far and wide to hear the Buddha speak. They traveled long distances, eager to learn from the man who had achieved enlightenment. Despite his popularity, the Buddha remained humble and gentle. He did not seek fame or power. He never raised his voice in anger, nor did he argue with those who doubted him. Instead, he answered questions patiently and with clarity. His calm and peaceful nature was a living example of the teachings he shared. People were inspired not only by his words, but also by the way he lived, showing that true wisdom is inseparable from compassion and humility. Even in his later years, the Buddha continued to guide his followers with love and understanding. He encouraged them to practice mindfulness, meditation, and ethical living. He reminded them that suffering is a part of life, but it can be transformed by understanding its causes and applying the principles of the middle way. Through meditation, people could see the impermanence of all things and learn to let go of attachment, which leads to freedom and peace. This teaching was simple yet profound, offering a practical path for anyone to follow. The Buddha's life during these years was a lesson in balance. He combined teaching with practice, showing that enlightenment is not just an idea, but a way of living. His humility, patience, and peaceful presence inspired countless people to follow his path. He demonstrated that fame and attention do not change the mind. Only practice, mindfulness, and compassion bring true understanding. By living in this way, the Buddha continued to help others see the path to peace and freedom from suffering, making his later years a time of profound teaching and deep inspiration. In the final years of his life, the Buddha continued to travel and teach, spreading his wisdom to all who would listen. He knew that his time in this world was limited, yet he faced his final days with complete calmness and serenity. His body had aged, and physical pain came with old age, but his mind remained peaceful and clear. He journeyed to a quiet town called Kushinagar, which would be the place where he would enter parinirvana, the final state free from the cycle of birth and death. Despite his weakness, he continued his mission with grace and dedication, teaching others through both words and example. Before reaching Kushinagar, the Buddha stopped in a village where a blacksmith named Kunda offered him a meal. According to some accounts, the food may have been spoiled or even accidentally poisoned. However, the Buddha accepted the meal calmly and with gratitude, without anger or complaint. This simple act demonstrated one of his deepest teachings. Everything in life is impermanent. Pain, sickness, and death are natural parts of existence, and the mind can remain peaceful even when the body suffers. Through his actions, Buddha showed that acceptance, mindfulness, and understanding are more powerful than fear, anger, or resentment. As his life drew to a close, the Buddha shared his final teachings with his disciples. He said, "Be a light unto yourselves. Strive on with diligence. All things arise and pass away. Your life is but a fleeting moment. Seek your own liberation. The truth is already within you." These words reminded his followers that wisdom and enlightenment cannot be given by anyone else. They must be discovered within each person. He encouraged them to look inside, practice mindfulness, and cultivate compassion, understanding, and ethical living. The Buddha emphasized self-awareness and personal responsibility, teaching that everyone has the potential to find peace through their own effort. Buddha's final moments were a reflection of his life's work. Even in the face of death, he remained calm, compassionate, and mindful. He showed that fear is not necessary, and that peace comes from understanding the truth of impermanence. His disciples were deeply moved by his serenity and wisdom. They realized that the most important lessons were not just in his words, but in the way he lived, with kindness, humility, and deep awareness of life's fleeting nature. The life of the Buddha became a guiding light for millions of people across the world. His teachings of compassion, mindfulness, and the middle way continue to inspire people today. By following his example, individuals can learn to face suffering with courage, live in the present moment, and cultivate love and understanding for all beings. The Buddha's story is a legacy of hope, wisdom, and peace that transcends time, showing that through inner awareness and compassionate action, anyone can transform their life. Even now, his teachings remain a source of guidance, helping people navigate the challenges of life with a calm heart and a clear mind.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.